parenting hacks, and I bring this up because I don't know, when I was pregnant, I think I saw myself as a mother in a certain way. You know, you envision yourself pregnant, and then you envision yourself with a baby, and then the baby is grown, and you don't really envision yourself actually parenting. Hello and welcome to another episode with the Intentional Mom and Wife. Me, Kathleen. And if you're returning from my previous video, thank you so much for coming back to join me. And if you're new here, hi and welcome. And I hope you enjoy this episode. So today's chat or discussion, whatever you want to call this, because I think I want to just have conversations and chats, talks. It's just girl talk, mom talk. Let's call it mom talk. Today's mom talk, wife, mom talk, girl talk, woman talk. Today's talk is titled Parenting Hacks, if you haven't seen it in the title already. And yeah, so excuse me if I look this side once in a while. It's because I have my computer here and I wrote down some points just to guide me through the conversation, because I don't want to sway. I have a tendency of talking off tangent because I love to talk. So I've come to terms with that. Here we go again. Anyway, today's chat is parenting hacks, and I bring this up because I don't know, when I was pregnant, I think I saw myself as a mother in a certain way. You know, you envision yourself pregnant, and then you envision yourself with a baby, and then the baby is grown, and you don't really envision yourself actually parenting and how difficult it is, and the challenges that you face every day to just try and raise a decent human being. I mean, you want to raise somebody that's going to be respectful, somebody that's going to be a responsible member of the community at some point, and you never see the grander scheme of things. You just go in it. I guess you go in it blind, and nobody ever warns you about it. So I've been reading. Sorry for that weird interruption. One of my lights just went off and now it's bright, but it's okay, we move. So I was talking about how you never really see the broader picture and the greater aspect of being a parent. And I love to read. I love to do research. By research, I don't mean TikTok. I love to read, for real. I just love to read on things that interest me. And because I'm a mom now, I love to read on parenting and how other people are doing it and what ways would work for me. Also looking at the personality of my son. What kind of way does he need to be parented or guided? Because ultimately that is our main role, is to guide this new and gentle, innocent soul into this world and teach him and equip him with the skills, the tools, the emotional stability that he or she will need to live and survive in this world and to fulfill their purpose at the end of the day. So anyway, let me not digress. I'm having some juice just to keep me hydrated as we go, and I'd suggest that you do the same, because this might be a little bit of a chitty chatty video. So I have my points here, and I'm just going to kind of walk you through some of the things that I have learned along the way, some of the things that I implement, and some things that I caught on that I just feel could be helpful to share. So basically we're trying to figure out how we can maintain our sanity through this process of parenting, because Lord knows those little minions can drive you crazy. I only have one, and I give all the respect to the women with two, let alone three. You guys have my love and you have my support. Anyway, so one of the things that has helped me is establishing a routine. Now, my son is only 2, so maybe toddlers just love routines. I don't know how old your children are, but establishing a routine, I feel, has given him a sense of knowing. I've noticed that my son does not like surprises. He loves a good surprise if it's Smarties or a little piece of chocolate when he doesn't expect it. But he doesn't want to sprout something new in his day when he already is expecting something. For example, he knows that when we wake up every morning, we play some music and he will dance and we will sing, and so it makes him happy. He wakes up to music and he's dancing and we're all happy. And the next thing is he will dress up, prepare himself for school, and then have breakfast, and then we fight about getting out the door. We fight about getting him in the car seat. He's expecting all those things, so it's a daily routine. It's a very big part of our culture, and even I'm getting used to it. And then there's certain things through the day that he loves to do. Every time we're picking up from school, whoever's picking him up, the first place he goes to is a trampoline. He needs to have his 10-15 minutes on the trampoline, and then he can get in the car without resistance. And then maybe take him to the park to run around a little bit more, because he's a boy. He has to get all the testosterone out of his system. And then after that, he gets a snack, and then come back home, and then yada 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 yada. Then mama comes home, and then it's dinner time, and then we all eat, and then it's dancing time again, or we play a game, or if it's movie night, we watch a movie. And then he fights to go to bed. He resists going to bed, and then eventually he goes to bed. And that is like the structure of his day. So I try, by all means. Yes, of course, it can get a little bit mundane, sometimes doing the same thing over and over again. So when I introduce something new, I introduce it slowly and gradually. So I wouldn't just, for example, after I pick him up from school, I take him to the grocery store because I need to buy groceries. No, I would take him up from school and take him to the trampoline, and then instead of going to the park, we go to the grocery store. That way, he's had a little bit of what he was expecting, even though there's something new or something different that has been added to his routine. So for me, that is something that helps with getting through the day, and also just communicating to him what the day is going to be about. I know he's only 2 and maybe doesn't understand much, but I have been talking to him like he understands since he was in my belly. And so for me, just speaking openly and talking to him really helps me just maintain that routine or add something new to the routine, and that helps me stay with him. I'm able to stay sane. And yeah, that is one tip. And then the second tip is I practice positive discipline. So lately I've been seeing this going around, gentle parenting. It's becoming a trend, and I fell onto it for a while. And then I realized, wait a minute, it's something that I already know. It's something that I have experienced. Being a child myself, having a mother and a father, I know what gentle parenting is, because that is what you get from your mother usually, especially if you're from an African home like me, where the mothers are very present in the children's lives in comparison to fathers, because the fathers are considered to be the providers, and so they go out and they work and they don't spend as much time physically with the children. So this is something that I kind of caught onto because it resonated with me. But then maybe it's been taken a little bit too far, in that there's a very thin line between gentle parenting and enforcing discipline. And for me, it's very important that my child is disciplined, because I was raised a certain way. And of course, I'm not going to raise my son the way I was raised, because there's so many things about how I was raised that I wish I did not have to go through. But there's certain things also that are so important culturally, because I'm of African descent, of Zambian culture, it's very important that my son respects the people older than him. He is half Zambian and half Italian, and in the Italian culture, it's okay to call people by their first names. Anybody, my friends, he calls them by their first names. But in Zambia, it's a completely different story. He can't call my friends in Zambia by their first names. He would have to call them aunt this, uncle that. So that is something that I'm trying to teach him. And because he's bilingual, his father speaks to him in Italian, and I speak to him in English because, well, English is not my first language, but it is a language that is prominently spoken in Zambia. It is the language that he will communicate with most of my family. So I teach him, if he's gonna call his aunt Lucy, for example, Italian, Lucy, 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 that's okay in Italian, and then you speak to her in Italian because it makes sense. But if you're gonna speak to her in English, you say Aunt Lucy, and then you speak to her in English, because in English you present yourself in a different way. And so that way he's learning he's learning both of the cultures, because I don't want him to just have one way of thinking. He is a mix of both Zambian and Italian, and I would love for him to learn both. So that is how I implement the positive discipline, so to say, in my everyday life. It's a very basic, simple example, but it also goes in discipline around food. I mean, of course, you don't want your child eating all the sugars and all the bad stuff. But then I don't want him to be an adult that grows up feeling like he didn't have so much of them when he was young, that he overindulges and maybe has weight issues. So I introduce these things to him, of course, in good quantities that are healthy for him and appropriate for his age. But I teach him discipline. He will see them. He will see the candy in the house. But it doesn't mean if you see it, you have to eat it. You will have it when you are supposed to have it, when it's offered to you. And so, because I feel like I know best as his mom, I know when to offer him a candy. I could offer him one small piece of candy, in this case a Smartie, or two once a week. And so that is the kind of positive discipline that I'm coming to. And this I apply in many different aspects of discipline when it comes to my son. And yeah, I hope that kind of helps. So it's gentle, but I'm still reinforcing the discipline aspect of it, and that I feel makes it positive discipline. And the third point is take breaks for self-care. Now, I wrote a point here and I want to read it out because I don't want to fumble and go off tangent. So, schedule regular breaks throughout the day to recharge and focus on self-care, whether it's a few minutes of deep breathing, a quick walk around the block, or enjoying a cup of tea. Prioritize moments of relaxation and rejuvenation. This stands very true, again, to mothers and fathers. Parenting is not an easy task. It's not something that you wake up knowing how to do. And society has kind of made us feel like once you're a parent, suddenly the powers of parenting just fall upon you like manna from the sky. But they don't. This is something that you learn. You have to unlearn a lot of systems, a lot of teachings that you have carried on along the way, and relearn new things, because now you are imparting what you know and what you would like to see that you didn't see in you, in this human being that knows nothing, that is relying completely, totally on you to help him through this life. So if you're not in the right place, if you're not in the right state of mind, there is no way that you're going to give the right energies, the right teachings, the right discipline, the right kind of love to your child. And this I speak from experience, because I remember there was a day I was so exhausted from work. I had a long day at work. I had a horrible day at work, let me be honest. And then I came home and my son hadn't seen me all day. I think he missed me. And so for him, his way of showing that he missed me is I don't want to call it nag, but he was like, he kept on whining and mama, 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 lift me up, mama, mama, lift me up. And I was so exhausted. I didn't have the mental space to just deal with him, because I was coming home with my stress of work and expecting I'll get home and I'm just gonna rest and just be calm, or I don't know what I was expecting. And I come home and my son needs my attention physically and he needed me there, but I just couldn't be there. And so I lifted him up, and I remember complaining, but I can't lift you up right now. I need to put you down. And so I could see the more I resisted what he wanted me to do for him, the more he kept on whining, and it was a cycle. And my husband came and said, it's okay, Kathleen, you go upstairs and take a nap or something, rest for 10 minutes, and then when you're ready, it's okay, you can come down. And I remember going up, and I was feeling so guilty, and I was like, where did I go wrong in my day? What didn't I do? Why am I feeling this way? My son has done nothing to me. And so I took those few moments to myself to just think and trace back in my day. And I realized I didn't take my lunch break. I didn't take a break from the day. My morning at work was horrible. I had a meeting that didn't go so well. And I carried that on through the day. I didn't go for lunch. I stayed and pondered on what I needed to do, and I tried to correct the mistake that I made. And so it went on, and so my whole day was ruined. So I spent all 8 hours of my work time just stressing about this one mistake that I made. I didn't have time to break from it, to absorb it, and to reflect on it, and to act on it. I just went on soaking in that stress, and I carried it on, and I brought it home with me, and I couldn't give my son the love that he needed. If only I had taken a moment while I was on my way from work to tap out and to just relax, to breathe, to say a little prayer, or to meditate, just something to help me relax and leave that state of stress and come into the state of just being at one and realizing, okay, that has happened, I am stressed, but now it's over. How do I correct it, and how do I move forward? I didn't have that moment, and so that affected every single thing that I did after that moment. And I had the worst day, and then I came home, and I almost made it the worst evening for my son. But fortunately, with the help of my husband, I was able to snap out of it, take a moment to breathe and to rest. And then I was, I don't know, a little bit rejuvenated. I came back down and I apologized to my son. And yeah, so we went on with our evening routine. So that is something that I feel is very important, and we neglect, is just take little moments during the day to just reconnect with yourself, recenter yourself, bring yourself back. It's easy to stray because there's so many things that can frustrate you. But when you feel yourself leaving that space of calmness where you have things under control, just take a moment, breathe in and breathe out, and then start again. Just a few moments of breaths really helps and changes a lot. Okay, so the next point is delegate and share responsibilities. Yeah, this one is difficult, especially if you're a mom that wants to be in control of everything. So don't be scared to delegate. If someone is willing to help you, accept the help, mommy. Accept the help from your mother-in-law, from your sister-in-law, from that friend, from that workmate. Accept that help. If somebody wants to take your son, your child for an extra 30 minutes in the day where you can just have space to yourself, accept the help. If there's someone that you can give the responsibility to do something that you were supposed to do, you were supposed to go and do your grocery shopping, and there's a friend of you at the supermarket already, ask if your friend can get you those 10 things on the list. And so you are not multitasking, you are using the help. I mean, we are human beings, and we exist together in communities to be able to help each other, which is something that I hope we can create in this community that we have here with intentional people as the intentionals. I don't want to call us that, that's so cheesy. Anyway, but don't be scared to accept the help. Don't be scared to delegate. Don't be scared. It doesn't mean you're less of a mother. It doesn't mean you're less of a partner or less of a person because in that moment you cannot do everything on your own. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to delegate, and it's okay to receive the help when you get it. Okay. And number 5, embrace imperfection. We need to drink a sip of this juice because imperfection. Who is imperfect? Excuse me? Who is imperfect? I'm joking. Of course, we're human beings and we all come with our baggage. We all come with our imperfections. And the moment you accept that you are not perfect, you begin to see yourself differently. You begin to have grace on yourself, because now you know that you're not able to do everything on your own. You know that even when you do something to the best of your ability, it will not be perfect, because we are imperfect beings. So accept that you're not perfect, and accept that you will not be perfect in your parenting. You will not be perfect in the way that you discipline your child. But the one thing that you should strive for is to always show up as your best. Show up as your best. Give your best advice. Give your best form of love. Always give the best that you can in that given moment. You can't say, I'm going to give my best after I have my spa date over the weekend, when I rest and when I sleep, then I'm going to give my best. It doesn't work that way. Right now, in this moment, what do you have to give that is your best? If the best you can give is a hug, give the best hug that you can give to that child. Give it. It will be appreciated in that moment, and it will work as it's supposed to work and serve its purpose in that moment. So don't strive to be perfect. Don't strive to do the impossible, because it will never happen. Just give your best, and give your best in that moment. Okay, as usual, we are halfway through, and if you like what you're hearing so far, please go ahead and like this video. And I want to see what you think. I want to hear how you cope with parenting, what kind of hacks or tips or I don't know, any gems that you'd like to drop on how you implement intentional parenting into your lifestyle with your children. And yeah, if you're really enjoying this video, share it with a friend, share it with a mother, an expecting mom, and yeah, let's get on with it. Number 6, create calm down strategies. My son is still quite young to understand what I mean when I tell him, baby, now we have to breathe because you are too stressed. But he emulates it. So there are times, now he's really getting into the zone of expressing himself. I mean, his vocabulary is growing every day, and he speaks both Italian and both English. So he mixes the words, he mixes the phrases, and that's okay. It's beautiful to see him. But I can see him striving to speak, striving to communicate. And sometimes in trying to do so, he gets frustrated. And when he's unable to communicate what you want, what he wants you to understand, he throws tantrums. He will get whatever is in front of him and throw it. Or if he's building a tower with boxes and it doesn't balance and falls off, he's going to kick everything away, frustration. And it's okay. That's because as human beings, we want to succeed at what we do. I understand that, because I'm like that too. When I get upset and I'm not able to do something that I wanted to do, I get frustrated. But because I'm older and I'm more conscious, I'm able to understand how to cope with those emotions. But he doesn't know how to cope with emotions. So at his age, the most he can do is give an outburst. It could be screaming or shouting or throwing something. And yes, you can call it a tantrum and the terrible twos, whatever you want to call it. But it's a time, it's a teaching moment. I mean, of course, don't teach your son in that moment when he's screaming and he's yelling. Let him feel his emotions. Let him sit in that emotion. Let him scream, let him throw, whatever, as long as it's not dangerous, it doesn't break, it doesn't hurt anybody. Let him feel that emotion. And when you're sure that he's done and he's done screaming, you will see it. And you will see it. You know, when you're frustrated and you're sad and your body language is just like, oh, you will see it. When that emotion is there and it's had its moment to be expressed, hold your child. I hug him, so I'll ask him, the first thing I do is, can I give you a hug? And so sometimes he'll say yes, other times he'll say no. When he does say yes, I give him a hug and I hold him, and I don't let go first. I let him let go of me first. Number 1. The second strategy is I'm trying to teach him to breathe. So when I hug him, I tell him, do you want to breathe with mama? And so I'll hold his hand and I'll tell him, let's breathe in, let's breathe out. And for him, it's a joke. And so he'll do the first breath and the second breath. Sometimes he'll get it right, sometimes he'll get it wrong. And then he'll end up laughing and the moment has passed. So those are the two calm down strategies that I have. I've noticed that because my husband and I parent differently, I noticed that my husband will try and sing to him or try and calm him down with songs or stories that he likes. So that's another way to go about it. And yeah, so that is what I do. And I don't know, you could find something that works for you, but this seems to be working for my 2-year-old, and maybe it's something that you could implement. And then the next one is plan ahead for outings and activities. It's already difficult enough going out with children or a child. And so if you're able to plan ahead and know what kind of activities you will be doing, of course, you don't always know what you will do every moment of the day, but you have an idea. So what I do is I carry the snacks that he loves, and I carry enough water, I carry enough water, and I carry enough liquids that he loves to drink. He loves juice. I carry tons of fruits, well, not tons, it's not like I'm walking around with the whole fridge, just enough for him. So one little pack of juice, a little pack of fruit puree, a little lunchbox of fruits in it, some crackers maybe, some milk because he still has his milk in, I can put it in his bottle, or sometimes I'll put it in his sippy cup. And yeah, I basically have his snacks. I always carry a book because he loves to read a book. He'll get bored and he just wants a book, and so we carry a book with him. Carry his favorite toy of that day, moment. It could be anything, honestly, from a trumpet and to a little ball or bubbles. So it really depends on what he's enjoying and feeling at the moment. So I carry some essentials that I know he will like. And then once we're out there, depending on where we're going, if it's outdoors, we try and do as much activities with the things that we find in the location. So if we're outdoors, we play a lot in the grass. We play hide and seek behind the trees, and we make stuff with the leaves and the branches. Try and use the things around you as much as possible. This way, I feel he will adapt easily to environments when he feels uncomfortable. He doesn't always need something brought from home or something that he needs to carry with him to feel comfortable or to feel like he's playing, but he can find ways and means to play with the things that are around him. And we also encourage him to talk. If we're going to meet other people, we encourage him to talk to the people, even if they're adults. Play with auntie, play with uncle. Even better if the other kids, encourage him to go and play with them. And yeah, so basically planning ahead, having the changes of clothes packed, diapers if he's still wearing diapers, and yeah, that usually helps. And also planning the meals ahead of time. So if I'm gonna be out of the house for the whole day, I try and carry his lunch with me, and just try and make sure that if I'm not able to warm it where I'm going, I put it in a little warming dish, and so that way I have some warm food for him to eat at lunchtime or at dinner time, because my son eats at 12:30 every day. You cannot miss lunch in that time space. And then he has his dinner at 7 on the dot. I mean, it'll be 6:55 and he'll be like, mama, food. So he eats like clockwork, and so we try and keep it that way. We of course eat a little bit later. We have dinner around 8:30, but sometimes we have it early just so that we can have that moment to eat together, whether we're out or at home. So just planning ahead, planning the meals ahead of time, snacks, games and toys, that really helps. And then number 8 is set realistic expectations. Now, it's very important to be realistic. I mean, you don't go out and expecting your son to behave the whole time, because you will definitely be disappointed and frustrated. So be realistic. You know that your son or your child takes a nap every afternoon for an hour. Make sure that when you go, you are prepared. You have if you're gonna be outdoors, have a place for him to be laid out comfortably, that he can take a nap. If you're going to be at someone's house, let them know in advance that, look, my son takes a nap at this time or at that time. And just be realistic. Don't expect your child to behave how you want them to behave wherever you will be it at home, be it out. Be realistic and expect surprises, because with children, that is the one thing that is constant: surprises. You will always be surprised. So just be realistic with your expectations. In that way, you will not be so disappointed and you will not be so frustrated. And that will just kind of help with the seamlessness of different environments, of being in different places with your children. And that helps me a little bit too. And then number 9, which I feel is very important, is connecting with other parents. So we have very few friends that have children. I could count on one hand how many friends of ours have children. And so we try as much as we can to hang out with parents that have children, because we share the same, we share a similar lifestyle, in that our lives rotate a lot around the routines and the lives of our children. So we all know that with kids, you can only be out for so long. You can only go to certain places because, of course, it's safe and it's good for children. That's if you're going with your kids. And you can only go out twice, 3 times a month max, because you have responsibilities to take care of your child. So talking and connecting to other people in your same situation. You could be a single mom, talking to single moms that go through something similar, have a similar lifestyle to you, will make you feel normal. It will make you feel like, look, I'm here at home and I need to take care of my child. I can't be out to go and watch a movie at night because it's the premiere of The Little Mermaid or whatever. I don't know why The Little Mermaid. But realizing that you're not missing out, you're not the only one going through what you're going through, really could help you cope with your situation and your current circumstances, whatever they may be. And also just knowing that there's someone going through similar struggles and how they sort out their struggles with that child or with life in general, it really helps, and it really just keeps you grounded and helps you understand at what level or what scale of your life you are at. You know, are you keeping a good balance? I mean, of course, I'm not saying go and compare your life to the other person, but just having somebody that you can bounce ideas off of, that you can see and say, oh, look, this person is going through that. I guess if they're going through it, it's normal for me to go through it too, because it's a normal thing that could happen. So just having people in similar lifestyles, in a similar situation as you, will really help, talking and connecting. And it also just helps, you know, sometimes you want to vent, because I feel like as parents, we don't talk enough about how much you just want to sit down and gossip about your kids. And it feels nice when you gossip about your kids with someone who wants to gossip about their kids. I have my workmate that has got a son too, and one of the first things we do when you get to work, it's like, oh, hey, how was your week and how was your night, blah blah blah. And the first thing is, oh my goodness, my son didn't sleep last night, can you imagine? I just wanted to sleep. And I was just there like, just sleep. And you're there like, oh no, my son did the same thing too, and I was dropping him off at school and he didn't want to. And it just feels nice. It's like you get it off your chest. It's like those little buggers they can be some work sometimes, and there's someone else going through something similar, but they show up, and at the end of the day, it's all joy. You count it all joy. It's a process, it's a phase, it's the journey of parenting. So just find your people, find your tribe, find your community. And yeah, if this is it, then yeah, let's chat, let's talk in the comments, and let's see. I mean, you never know what I'm going through, you could be going through, and we could really help each other through these moments that may seem difficult, but are actually very normal processes to go through as a parent. And the last one is prioritize quality time. Again, I want to read because this one is very important. Make time for meaningful interactions with your children. This is very important. Free from distractions or screens. Engage in activities that foster connection and bonding, such as reading together, playing games, or simply enjoying each other's company. This is something that is so underrated. It's so undermined. And I cannot stress the emphasis on how much it is to just spend quality time with your kids. Honestly, I think I'm one of the last millennials I'm a millennial from the not the modern millennials, but towards the end. And that should tell you how old I am. Anyway, there is something special about just sitting with my mother. I mean, even now as a mother myself, and when I sit with my mom and we just sit and we could be eating groundnuts. We both love to eat groundnuts or corn, and we just sit there and we eat corn and nothing around us. We sit on something called an impasa, which is a mat made from bamboo or reed back in Zambia, and you sit there and you just talk to your mom about anything, everything under a mango tree. It is priceless. Till this moment, I treasure those memories, I treasure those moments, and I look forward to them because that is something that is special. I talk to my mom in that moment. She's just my friend, and it's so beautiful. So I have those memories and those emotions locked inside my heart, and I still go back to them when I miss my mom or when I feel a certain way. And so I try to bring those moments with my son. And while I may not have an impasa yet, I will get one. We sit with my son on the side of his bed. I made a little place there. I put a little rag and I put some pillows and some books and some of his favorite stuffed animals. And so sometimes we just sit there and we just sit there. I'll lay there and I'll just sit down with him in his room, in his space, and we'll just talk, and I'll ask him questions and he'll respond, and we just have quality time to do nothing. It's just time to do nothing and just spend with each other. We usually end up giggling because I noticed that my son is a clown. I like to think he gets his clownness from me, but he really likes to make people laugh, and so he'll start to do stuff that will make me laugh, and so I laugh so hard to encourage this aspect of his personality. And it's just beautiful to see him grow and just to spend those moments of nothings, doing nothing, which is a lot, because I know if we continue, I love to do it, and I can see that he loves it, and we continue to do it as he grows. Hopefully it will be something that he will hold dear to him. And also just reading. Sometimes we just sit and we read, or we play with his miniature animals, and we create a farm or a jungle or whatever, and we just play, and I get to relive parts of my childhood that I didn't live or I don't remember. And so I get to be a child again, and he is just there in his element, and it's just so beautiful. And yeah, it's I don't know, it's remarkable. It's a beautiful time. So spend quality time. Don't underestimate the power of just sitting with your child and having a glass of juice together. Oopsie. Having a glass of juice together, having just a moment to just calm down and wind up the day, and just a little moment of chitty chatty like we are doing now with your child. That would be amazing, also if they're of the age. And yeah, quality time, quality time, quality time, quality time, quality time. And yeah, that brings me to the end of my hacks of surviving parenting, so to say. And so if you have any other hacks or any other tips, please do mention them in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And yeah, we look forward to seeing each other again in the next episode. Until then, you stay awesome because you're a great parent, you're doing great, and stay intentional. Keep doing what you're doing because you're doing an amazing job. Ciao.